It's time for another Native Strength Short. There are many times in life where someone we're involved with or that we love very much is involved with some sort of bad substance or bad habit. And we want to help them break that. We know it's not good for them, physically or mentally, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, as my grandmother used to say. Sometimes people have a very stubborn attitude about their bad habits, and as much as we might want to help them and change their life for the better, it's not going to work unless they want it. So how do we make somebody else want something that's good for them? That's a difficult challenge. My grandma also used to say, you catch more flies with honey. So threatening and strong-arming them and using tough love often just doesn't work. They'll turn and run in the opposite direction. You have to use your mind to reason with them. You have to find a way to appeal to their better instincts and their sense of sensibility and what they really want for their future. Sometimes that won't work either. And even if we want what's good for someone else, sometimes it's just like pounding your head against a brick wall. There's nothing you can do. The only thing we can truly control is our reactions to what's going on around us. And sometimes these habits that we're trying to change might be our own. And we have to use this same principle of kindness and understanding and catching flies with honey with ourselves.
Trying to physically force someone into happiness, socialization, hard work, or any other situation that goes against their will isn't usually going to be successful. We have to use our mind instead. In fact, when we try to physically force an overly emotional person to do something, it usually ends in bitterness, anger, or disaster. It may even permanently ruin a relationship.
As I've said in my Bullies episode, success lies in being smarter, not being stronger. So when dealing with the emotions, either yours or someone else's, use the north, your mind. Try reason.
So we stop and think, what would be a nice little reward for us that isn't as harmful as the one in which we currently indulge? It may not be 100% healthy or beneficial, but remember, it must be something fun, or we won't do it. It won't work. We need to think of something we would view as a reward for hard work or an escape from a stressful situation. It can't be something we should do, but something that we truly would enjoy. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves reverting back to our old ways. If our new choice can't compete with our old habit, it's not a good option. We need to think of something almost equally enjoyable. As we think about better choices, notice that on the wheel of life, we're in the northwest, planning. If we spin the wheel now, we find the southeast stands for attitude and approach. As I was saying, we have to think about our true attitude when we plan for our alternatives. If our approach is not to please our inner children, but our inner adults, in other words, something that we should do rather than something we would really enjoy, we won't be successful in changing our bad habits. We have to be honest with ourselves. Are you beginning to see how to use the wheel of life as a tool? To get some clues as to what we can use as a substitute, think about the inner children. Remember, the inner children love to explore life, learn new things, go on adventures, and appreciate beauty. What would your inner children like to do? Don't think too big. If you're trying to quit smoking, a trip to the Grand Canyon isn't going to satisfy you when you usually take a cigarette break several times a day. You'll need something you can do in the same amount of time and just as frequently. There used to be a TV show starring Telly Savalas called Kojak. He was a detective who had quit smoking. He frequently had a lollipop. It was a great substitute because it also kept his hands busy. He could put it in his mouth now and then as needed, and for this character, it worked. Of course, candy's not healthy, but it isn't as bad for you as smoking cigarettes. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Take small steps and be kind to yourself.
So like I said in that little excerpt, sometimes we have to trade one bad habit for another one that isn't quite as bad. I used to have a terrible habit of drinking Diet Cokes. I had one going all day long, from the time I got up to the time I went to bed, and sitting on my nightstand to take sips of during the night. I was addicted to Diet Coke. And it was bad for me for many different reasons. It was bad for my teeth. It was bad for my stomach. It was bad for everything. So I knew I had to cut that out of my life. But I was very addicted. So I had to trade that bad habit for something that wasn't quite as bad. I weaned myself off of it by using carbonated water and fruit juices. And I would mix different kinds of fruit juices in with the carbonated water to keep it interesting. And I'd still have a Diet Coke for maybe once a day for a while. And then I cut back to maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And then I cut back to maybe once a week. And it got to the point where, it's okay, I don't need it this week. I'm okay. I'm okay with the carbonated water. Then I had to cut myself off from the carbonated water. I had to wean myself from that because, honestly, any kind of carbonation really isn't good for your stomach. And that was one of my problems. I have a hiatal hernia, so my stomach is very prone to acid indigestion and things like that. So I really had to get off the carbonated water, but it was a lot better to be on that than the soda. So I started cutting back on the carbonated beverages. I started just using fruit juice and water. And I could never take the fruit juice full strength because of the hiatal hernia, and all the juice has all these acids and stuff in it. So just doing a little bit of fruit juice and like 2/3 of water was very satisfying to me, and it didn't give me the acid indigestion. So I weaned myself slowly and surely, a little at a time, down to that. Now this whole process of going from Diet Cokes all the time, 24/7, to totally off of them took 1.5 years. It was not quick, but I had to be patient with myself, knowing that I was making progress. And every time I got frustrated that I couldn't make faster progress, I looked back. Look at how far you've come. You're not drinking Diet Coke in the middle of the night and all day long anymore. You're doing a lot better than you did. So be grateful for that and just keep making progress a little bit at a time, baby steps, one little bit at a time. And here I am, finally off of it. And I do feel much better as a result. There's no doubt about it. It's much healthier. And I don't spend as much money on Diet Coke either, so there's that as well. Anyway, I hope this helps you as an example for yourself or someone you love in life, someone you care about, who might be trying to break a bad habit of one kind or another. Thank you very much for watching.